So I'm Josh Kemp. I am a sort of singer-songwriter, composer, general musician and actor from Nottingham.
Josh Kemp, everybody!
I kind of try and write positive, upbeat acoustic music. Not always positive, but what I kind of like to do is sort of pick up different points or things that I notice about the world and try and write about it. But generally, sort of stylistically, it's kind of like an upbeat acoustic, pop, folk kind of style. Which is a very vague description, I apologise.
Called Got You On My Mind. I really hope you enjoy
Jason Mraz is a big influence because he has a thing where, especially when writing lyrics, he uses triple-barreled rhymes, so he'll like use 3 rhymes in quick succession, and I love doing that. But almost storytelling-wise, I'm a big fan of Krista Berg of Lady in Red fame, mega tune, and he. I've been to see him maybe 5 times. His sort of way of storytelling, his gift of music is something that really, really inspired me as I was sort of growing up. And obviously people like Ed Sheeran for bringing that sort of singer-songwriter, acoustic guitar player into the sort of mainstream. Sometimes I'll be writing maybe not trying to tell a story, but more to get a point across or to describe an emotion, but still it's really important to be as clear and as paint a picture as visually as you can in the other person's mind, if that makes sense. And I think I really I was influenced by Krista Berg in that regard.
Gone in the blink of an eye. Got you on my mind, and that's my cross to bear. But these shapes won't throw themselves, and there is whiskey in my hair.
I started taking music a bit more seriously when I was coming out of college, and I hit the open mics, I hit the sort of acoustic nights in Nottingham, and then started meeting people, and then fast forward a year and a half maybe, I was sort of doing 220 gigs a year. So when I was initially started, I had no idea where to go to start getting these gigs or start meeting people, and that's one big piece of advice I reckon, is to go to these open mics, meet other musicians, and they'll be able to point you in that direction. Social media is really important to a musician, and it almost shouldn't be, but it's with the fact that your personality shines through on almost everything these days, on whether it's Facebook or Twitter or Instagram. That personality, that sort of personality status is really important for fans to try and connect with you and to get to know you. So social media is just one side, obviously, of modern technology and stuff, but it's a really, really important one for budding musicians. Like, have a real clear idea and just communicate with your fan base on a personal level. Technology and modern innovation will always happen. So it's literally just a case of you get what you're given and try and make it work as an artist and as a provider of art. So if you're a writer and you're wondering necessarily what platforms that you want to be putting on, how you want to go through releases, the reliance on labels, do you need to go through publishers? There's so many little avenues to music these days. You can do it by yourself, you can do it through labels, but it's just having an awareness of the kind of stuff that you need to do, effectively. So we're chilling in a rather beautiful barn conversion where there's a sort of live music coming tonight, which is a pleasure to meet you guys here. And it all kind of stems from the brain of Joe Birch and Johnny Borum, and we're raising money for Macmillan, and that's because Joe's husband John earlier this year passed away from cancer, and I met them a couple of years ago in a place called the LP in Bury St Edmunds, and absolutely lovely couple, and they asked me if I'd come and play Birchfest, which was effectively, before John died, he wanted to go to Glastonbury. Unfortunately, he didn't make it, but so they decided to put on a festival in his honour, named Birchfest. And so I headlined the acoustic stage. It was an absolute pleasure. But like I say, they're absolutely lovely people here, and so they told me that they were going to be putting on a night where they'd be raising money for not only Macmillan, but also the hospice where John ended his life. I couldn't say no, and it's a good chance to sort of see everybody again, perform some new songs for everybody. So it's a really important sort of event, not only like for everybody here, but also sort of emotionally, like and charity-wise as well. So it's a pleasure to be back. at the start of the year, I spent a couple of months in Asia. While I was away, I filmed the music video for my last single, Imaginary Friend. And so it was a really great chance to sort of see a bit of the world. The whole point of Imaginary Friend as a concept, the world is big. It's big and it's full of absolutely beautiful things, but if you watch the news or read the newspapers, sometimes it's quite easy to not believe that. And so I wanted to write a song that really explained to somebody who had never had the chance to see it some of my favourite things about the world. And it was entirely based on a quote that's, I forget who said it, but it's, to see the beauty in the world, you need to not see new places, but to look with new eyes. I'm paraphrasing, but that's effectively what it was. And that really resonated. And so I wanted to create something that was just an appreciation of all this beauty that we can sometimes miss.
The sky it'll never reach. It's you who I will never meet. I'll promise you the world and show you all I've ever seen. And I try to help you learn in that parallel universe that would let you be. Hell would have no fury over me. And if it arose that I should go away, I'd choose you any day. You should basically be me. And when life would get you down, I'd be around to offer you a cup of tea, 'cause kindness is free. But the worst thing about a dream is you believe until you wake and you're deceived, and that time keeps away the final guarantee. And now hell hath no fury over me. Who I will never meet, I promise you the world, and I show you all I'd ever seen, and I try to help you learn. And in that parallel universe that will let you be safe and steadfastly. Hell would have no fury over me.
Writing songs, there is never one way of doing it. The age-old question is lyrics or music first or whatever, and the answer for me is it's very rarely a definite thing. It changes sometimes. Sometimes I'll have a really nice little guitar idea, and normally, in all fairness, there's a music idea first because it gives me rhythm.
And so this song is called You Are.
But there have been a few times where I've literally just written lyrics. There have been a few times where I've had a tune idea. There have been a couple of times where I've had like very little, and I start singing, improvising, and then improvising lyrics as well. So it's a case of find your method, but understand that method will completely change depending on what you're writing and what state you're in at the time, which is always an interesting point.
It's a little miss perfect, perfection's not worth it when you spend all your days on your own.
Working with people, surrounding yourself with like-minded, nice, talented individuals, again, as opposed to feeling like you're trying to push something along all the time. If it's not working, lynch it.
Times when we give it our best.
There's a couple of really important points that I sort of adhere to. Is do it. Don't stand knocking at a closed door for too long, because you can find yourself, one, getting frustrated and upset, and two, feeling stagnant. And for me, the worst thing in the world is feeling like something's not going anywhere or it's stagnant, especially when you're creating something. So absolutely go for it. Commit to it. Don't procrastinate. If you're writing right now and you're looking to release, do a bit of research. There's plenty of avenues out there to sort of either self-release music or go through labels. One big problem that I've spoken about a few times that musicians sort of things is writer's block, because I mean it's a very famous negative thing. But generally, what I say is writer's block. For me, there's two kind of mindsets for me when I'm writing. There's the creative and then there's the editor. and both of them are horrific for each other. Because if you try and bring in the editor too soon, it kills off all creativity. So if you're writing and you're in writer's block, one of the main problems is that you're trying to make it good, and you're trying to edit it, and you're trying to assess it before that creative juices kind of start flowing. I guess it's like writing an essay or writing an article, but in the first sentence you're trying to figure out whether the article's good or not. You know what I mean? Like, it's impossible. Whereas people try and do that with music. They'll sort of say, start with a melody, and they'll kind of go, oh, I don't know whether this melody's good enough, or I'm not sure if this lyric is good enough. You know what I mean? It's impossible to tell at that stage, and it just really stifles creativity.
Just to see how
I'm really lucky to make a living out of music, but at the same time I could never see myself not. Music's been a part of my life since I was 4, and so it's kind of an element of I do what I'm good at to earn money. I'm releasing my new track, which is called You Are. The song is a comment on who we choose to find inspiration from. And 9 times out of 10, obviously people go for actors, musicians, people celebrity figures who they love or admire or appreciate. And one of my something I don't get with the world is that people who literally save people's lives every day. I mean, we're talking like everyday heroes, like doctors, but even people who just like get up in the morning and then go visit their elderly grandparent or like people who generally change somebody's day every day. We consider that to be normal and kind of boring, and nobody glorifies these people, and it kind of blows my mind. So I wanted to write a song just as a bit of a tribute to those kind of everyday heroes, and so the video is going to reflect that.
how lucky we are.
The truth of the matter is nobody really knows. They kind of just make it up as they go along. Well, I think that's a general point of life, though, isn't it? So you just go for it and see what happens.
Thank you for having me, everybody. Enjoy the rest of your night. See you again. Thank you very much.